What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's video, I'm gonna be talking about Black Panther #2 by Eve L. Ewing and Chris Allen. This issue, we are properly introduced to a character we first met in the previous issue of Black Panther #1, the mysterious woman in white who, for lack of a better way to put it, is seemingly Black Panther's version of Catwoman. This new character goes by the name of Beisa, and she is, for all intents and purposes, probably exactly what we expect someone like her to be, a Catwoman analog, someone who didn't come from money, but ultimately learned how to seize money and power. She is someone who we don't really know a whole heap of a lot about, but we do know that she's not from Zana, where T'Challa is initially from. She is someone who grew up in what is referred to as BT, Burning T'Chaka. The capital city of Wakanda is often referred to as the Golden City. Burning T'Chaka is referred to as the Rust City. It is basically a low-income neighborhood in the form of a city in Wakanda. We know that Beisa did not come from money. We know she didn't have all the same means as many people from Zana, though she does admit that she learned a great deal about how wealth and equality works in Wakanda as a whole, that everyone pretty much gets what they need to survive, a good education, healthcare, jobs, and all that stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're rich. But Beisa has discovered how to achieve all of these things, and she does it by way of cat burglary. It doesn't seem like she has any one particular person that she works for. It seems as though she's pretty much a freelance burglar, and while she does take jobs here and there, probably from anyone who is the highest bidder, it's in this issue where she comes face to face with T'Challa. And when she encounters the Black Panther, she doesn't believe that he is the actual Black Panther. But over the course of this issue, especially towards the end, while she doesn't necessarily know that the person under the mask is T'Challa, she believes it's someone who is an imposter, someone who's pretending to be the Black Panther just to scare the local crime lords. But what we do know is that Black Panther knows enough about who Beisa is to discover exactly where she hides out when she's not running around dressed in a white cat burglar costume. Whoever Beisa really is, we don't really know. We've seen her out of costume in this issue. I know some people probably thought that, oh, maybe this person towards the end of the comic is Queen Divine Justice when she initially shows up, because T'Challa, while he is in disguise working a normal day job as Ize, he's working with the sister of Queen Divine Justice. That is not the case. This is in fact Beisa that is here just the same. We don't know exactly what that alliance is or how it's going to play out, or if Beisa is even going to accept it, but T'Challa is going to need all the help that he can get going forward, because one of the crime families that we were introduced to in the previous issue, one of the heads of that family, Waro, we now see that he has successfully activated the Deathlock that we saw in issue #1. The Deathlock, who, while is not explicitly stated as the Michael Collins rendition of Deathlock, it is in fact exactly that. But we see that Deathlock and T'Challa are going to be facing off with each other in the very next couple of issues. But I think it's safe to say that we can all pretty much assume that Deathlock is not going to be under the control of Waro for terribly long. I have a feeling that T'Challa is going to find a way to undo the programming that Waro and his associates have put into Deathlock that has allowed them to turn him into their own weapon. T'Challa will very likely have a rough go of it facing off with Deathlock at first, because right now, while he has a fair amount of his gear and tech, he still has the power from the heart-shaped herb still, so it's not like he's going to be going up against Deathlock without anything to defend himself with. But one thing T'Challa is severely lacking in that he will desperately need to help him in his upcoming battle with Deathlock is you hitting that subscribe button. Clicking subscribe will ensure T'Challa does not get his cheeks clapped and turned inside out fighting Deathlock, because we all know right now T'Challa is on the struggle bus. He does not have all of his gadgets and weaponry and all the tools and whatnot that he normally would have access to. He doesn't have any of it. You clicking that subscribe button is going to help raise his confidence and is going to convince the Golden City to give T'Challa his toys back. And while we're talking about it, make sure you Hulk smash that like button. But in all seriousness, he actually will have access to some gadgets thanks to Shuri by way of Nightshade. Nightshade has apparently provided T'Challa with some extra firepower and weaponry and gadgets that he didn't already have possession of, because for the most part, as far as we could tell, he had the most basic and bare bones of tech now that he is no longer in Burning Zana. But Shuri is not going to be able to back him up and help him with technology and gear, because right now, Burning Zana and Wakanda as a whole, the entire of their government is going through a lot of changes. She mentions that there's going to be a Transparency Act put into play, and that means that her communications are going to be monitored. So she's not going to be able to reach out to T'Challa and provide him with any aid, because since he is exiled, that is going to be against the law. But Nightshade is not tied to Wakanda in any meaningful way. She is actually tied to one of Wakanda's neighbors, Mohanda, and we've seen Nightshade a fair bit as of late. While, some years ago, she had turned against her more villainous ends and began working with the Batman analog character, Nighthawk, working as his woman in the chair, also helping him with coming up with new gadgets as well as upkeeping new gadgets and providing him information while he's out in the field. She has more recently, over in the Captain America Symbol of Truth series, been helping Mohanda with their efforts to gain independence. And right now, she's back working, apparently, alongside Black Panther again. While it seems like this is more of a one-off deal, I'm starting to think maybe she might show up more often than not. But what I always find interesting about the character Nightshade is that it really just kind of depends on what comic she's in, how she's gonna look, because we're used to seeing Nightshade one particular way with the afro puffs, and then there's also another version of the character where she doesn't have any afro puffs at all. When we last saw her in the Sam Wilson Captain America Symbol of Truth series, she had the undercut look. Now she's back in this series rocking the afro puff look. She is all over the place with these hairstyles. I'm here for it. That said, Black Panther has a lot on his plate right now. He has warring criminal factions. One of those warring crime factions having a whole deathlock at their disposal. He has a morally ambiguous rival in Beisa. He also has the potential to have a woman in the chair working alongside him, providing him with tech by way of Nightshade, and who knows, we may actually see the return of Queen Divine Justice at some point. I feel like Evil Ewing didn't just passingly mention her, much less have someone related to her close to T'Challa in this issue for no reason at all. Whatever happens next, I don't think T'Challa and Beisa are gonna hit it off immediately. I feel like there's gonna still be some growing pains there. I don't think that they're gonna become bosom buddies or even romantic partners off rip, despite the fact that the next issue is referred to as a Wakandan wedding. If you enjoyed this video, do the YouTube thing, like, share, comment, subscribe, and make sure you tap that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the videos that I put out. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, let me know what you thought about Black Panther #2. Keep it plus ultra and sound off in the comments.